What's the difference between the way that online tabs are showing you how to play Aenema and the real way that Adam Jones does it? You're about to find out. As Tim Allen once said, it's tool time. Well, hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. Earlier this week, my good buddy Ryan Bruce, aka Fluff, uploaded a video over on his channel where he showed you guys how to nail Adam Jones's legendary tone from Aenema. A couple weeks before the release of the video, he sent me the audio clips of him playing the intro and verse of the song to see what I thought about the tone. And while he did absolutely nail the sound of that record, I did have to inform him that he, like so many of us, are playing the riffs kinda wrong. But of course, Fluff's video was a lesson on nailing the tone and not necessarily the technique and performance, so it's totally kosher. But I figured what better time to show you guys the exact way that Adam Jones actually plays those riffs, which is something I've never seen tabbed out, taught, or covered properly. As always, you guys can find full tabs for this lesson over on my Instagram page at Ben Eller Guitars. Just search for hashtag Weekend Wankshop 259. Find the tabs, start rocking today. Bonus lessons, backing tracks, downloadable tabs, and a bunch more cool stuff are available to everybody who helps support my channel over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. All kinds of goodies are available to everybody, even at the $1 a month level. So be sure to click the Patreon link in the video description below and check it out today. Quick word about my setup for this video. Like I said, if you want to learn everything about how to really nail that tone, check out Fluff's video. Really fascinating. He got that tone using some somewhat unorthodox plugins and stuff that really surprised me, but it sounds amazing. But as for my setup, I'm playing my Les Paul today in drop D tuning, so the low E string is tuned down one whole step. And I'm playing through the Fractal Audio Axe FX 3, which is running 2 amps simultaneously, as Adam Jones is kind of known to do. One of them being the Diesel VH4 and the other one being an old school Marshall Plexi. I'm also boosting the signal from my guitar using the Highwind Direwolf overdrive, which is one of the most awesome overdrives I've ever used. It has this blend knob and stuff on it so you can really dial in exactly how much of that boost you want. Killer pedal, be sure to check that thing out. Whatever your setup is at home, just be sure not to use too much gain. Whenever you have all that gain and compression and stuff, it tends to cover up all those subtle little nuances that you get from your pick attack and your left hand attack, which is going to be really important for this lesson. First things first, let's talk about the surprising way that Adam plays the intro to the song. Pretty crazy, right? You might have noticed there that in each repetition of the riff, there is only one pick stroke. And all of those low power chords that you hear through the riff are being handled exclusively with left-hand hammer-ons from nowhere, or hammer slaps as I've been calling them. And I know some of you diehard Tool fans are already kind of skeptical about that, but stick with me. If you listen closely on the record, you'll notice that that very first chord that you hear doesn't really have the sound of pick attack announcing it. Now, for a long time, I just kind of suspected that that was maybe due to the use of like a heavy noise gate that was clamping down that initial sound of the pick hitting the strings. It turns out there's no pick attack because, well, there's no pick attack. In order to make this technique happen, what you've got to do is using your first finger here, just slap down really hard and fast with a hammer on fret number 2 of the guitar on your bottom 2 or 3 strings. If you do that hard enough, it should sound out that low E power chord without you having to hit it with your pick. Whenever you do that left hand slap, if you're just kind of getting sort of a knock noise like this, it means that you're not pushing down hard enough. Maybe your finger's coming in with good velocity, but then not pushing the strings up against the fretboard of the guitar. Try to imagine pushing the strings through the neck, if that helps. That kind of gets you the velocity that you're gonna need in order to make these hammer slaps really ring out. Now all that you're doing right there is slapping down one of these hammer-ons on fret number 2 on your bottom 2 or 3 strings. Pull that first finger off to open, and then slap it back down on fret number 2 again, before you hit the D and G with the pick hand. Okay, so it's... Now, whenever you strike those open strings, be sure not to keep holding down the fret number 2 or sound out a big open pull-off. You don't want the sound of those open low strings combining with those open D and G strings. It gets really muddy. So whenever you strike those open D and G strings, be sure just to lightly come off of the strings here with the first finger. It'll still make a little bit of noise, but that's going to be way louder. So don't worry about it if you got a little of those open strings ringing out. Your pick hitting these two is going to drown it out anyway. After that, what you're gonna do is to do some more slapping and pulling off on the 2nd fret. Okay? Now, after you're done with that much of the riff, what you've got to do is to sneak in really quick here with the right hand and mute those bottom strings out, so that way nothing rings out anymore. So the right hand is kind of acting as sort of a clamp coming on and off of the strings to help you with the muting. Watch my right hand close here. That's really different from pretty much every tab and cover and lesson that I see, which features a lot more happening with the picking hand. Usually I see people play it kind of like this, where the pick is really doing a lot of work. And it does sound really punchy and powerful when you play it that way, but that's not what Adam does. Adam is, of course, no stranger to using his left hand to create rhythmic percussive effects. Be sure to watch Weekend Wankshop 193, where I break down the cool pull-through technique that he uses to play some of the riffs in Jambi, for example. Now for the skeptics in the crowd, I want to show you guys some live footage of Adam playing this song with the band, where you can clearly see the right hand action, or inaction as the case may be. Okay, this video is on YouTube. It is titled Tool Aenema Live 1996 Pomona CA, meaning California. Now here at the start of the video we have Maynard doing stuff, and the camera is about to pan over here to Adam Jones. I want you guys to really watch that right hand. You're gonna see him kind of latching on and off the strings to do that muting that we were talking about, and you're gonna see only one pick stroke happening when he hits those D and G strings. Watch close. Again, that movement's really pronounced, easy to see. I've noticed that percussive drum-like sound of those left-hand hammer-ons is a lot more pronounced in the live footage rather than listening to the record. I suspect that's because live you're just hearing one track of guitar as opposed to the multitudes of tracks that you usually hear on a record. Plus you don't have all the extra compression and stuff going on from the mixing and mastering process. Check out just about any live high quality clip of Tool playing this song and I guarantee you won't hear pick hitting strings on that first chord ever. But this isn't the only spot in the song where Adam uses this hammer slap technique. Let's check out the verse next. Again, not a lot of pick strokes going on in that riff, and we can verify this by watching some live footage. This is Tool Aenema Live at Download Festival 2019. We got Adam Jones over here on the bottom left portion of the screen. Watch as the camera zooms in and you're gonna see just how little his right hand is doing. Again, it's only hitting the strings whenever he hits those opens. Check it out. Yeah. What a goofball. Okay, so this features that same hammer slap technique as the intro right here, but obviously it's moving around a little bit more and the execution's a little different. For starters, we're going to be palm muting all 6 of the strings back here by putting the side of our picking hand right in front of the bridge of the guitar. You want to be able to hear those strings ring a little bit. Don't get too far forward or you'll lose, all note definition and stuff. Try to get right in between that little ditch between the bridge and the bridge pickup. That's exactly where your right hand should be. Now that is the first half of the verse riff. And you could hear that the left hand here is doing, again, those hammer slaps going from second to open over and over and again, while the pick hand here just hits the open G and D strings on the upbeat of beat number 2. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Like that. And again, just like the intro, whenever you're striking the open strings with the pick, be sure not to pull off too hard and ring those out. The palm muting will make that a little less hard to hear, which is nice, but do try to be cautious. So that is the basic rhythmic unit of the riff, and you're gonna play that 3 times in a row. The 4th time through is a little bit different. And what you're gonna do is on beat number 3, move your slapped power chord over here to the 4th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4. And after this, you're gonna play all that same concept of 3 of one thing, and then the 4th time it moves down to the 4th fret. Only this time you're gonna be slapping on fret number 5. So your first 3 rhythmic units are gonna be like this. Again, that's the same stuff as before. 1, 2, and 3. Play that 3 times in a row. And then the last time you're gonna move down to fret number 4 on beat number 3, just like you did earlier. 1, 2, 3. Later on in the riff, before the chorus starts, he moves the open string stabs that he's doing to the B and E strings whenever he's doing the second fret slaps like this. Now whenever he moves back up to fret number 5 right here, you're going to go back to D and G. It's really a workout here for the left hand index finger, so take your time with that one. Don't overdo it and sprain something. And again, while you're doing that palm muting, if you just get more of a thud here out of the left hand, like that, it either means you're not coming down hard and fast enough, or it could mean that your right hand is too far forward. Because again, no matter how good your technique is here, if your palm muting is like in between the pickups, you can't tell what notes those are. But if it's a little further back here, right in front of the bridge, that's going to get you the tone that you need. And if you're practicing this slowly and you think it sounds weird, that's because it does. It's one of those techniques that really kind of only works fast because the notes have no sustain since we're palm muting them. Now, of course, because this is Tool we're talking about, there is some mathemagic wizardry going on in this riff. And basically what Adam is doing with the way that he plays the left hand hammer slaps and the right hand open string stabs is kind of alluding to a polyrhythm that we call a hemiola. Now, a hemiola is actually not a rare blood disease or anything like that. It's a simple polyrhythm where we have 3 beats happening over the exact same space as 2 beats. Let me demonstrate just by using my left hand here slapping the muted strings and my right hand chopping the high strings right here. Now as I play that figure, it's taking the left hand exactly as much time to play 3 beats as it does the right hand to play 2. I'll get that groove going again and just kind of count it out one hand at a time. Let's start with the left hand doing the 3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now if I start counting what the right hand is doing, you'll notice that it can do 2 strokes in exactly the same amount of time and end up landing on that exact same beat number 1 downbeat as the left hand. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. That tingling sensation that you're feeling right now, that's your third eye opening. Or it might just be your phone downloading that new Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know. Now what Adam is playing isn't explicitly a hemiola because he's basically kind of ducking out with the right hand on the stroke that would happen on beat number 1 of both hands. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. He's not announcing that 1 with the right hand. He's just doing the second beat of the hemiola. Enter, enter, enter. But this is a really cool rhythmic feature that is kind of the heart of this song. And if you listen really closely to the drum stuff that Danny Carey plays, you'll notice that sometimes he plays more with the 3 feel and other times alludes more to the 2 feel that you're hearing going on simultaneously. The combined effect of that semi-polyrhythm that the guitars and drums are doing along with Justin Chancellor's bass part makes this just like web of groove that makes that verse sound so awesome. And if you want to learn all about that killer bass part that Justin is playing, be sure to go over to Acts of Creation's channel and watch his full lesson on exactly what's going on with that bass part. It's going to make you appreciate how all this stuff works together even more. So there you go, guys. Another super awesome Adam Jones trick from his box O groove. Be sure to check out that Tool Jambi lesson video I did a while back. I learned his pull-through technique and see what you can do with that too. Be sure to like this video and subscribe for new content every single week. Ring the bell for notifications. And if you like what you see here on my channel and want to help support it, be sure to visit that Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. And be sure to head over there and check out Ryan Bruce's video about recreating this tone. It's really fascinating. And of course, Acts of Creation is kind of a great source for everything Tool related. So be sure to check out those guys' channels. Tell them Uncle Ben sent you. Well guys, it's been fun, but I've got to get away from here and do some work. I recommend you guys pick up that guitar and get to practicing. Less clicking, more picking.